A lot of people have a misconception of this myth. People say it's either true or false. In the years following the Revolution, a vice president of the United States committed murder and attempted to break the new nation up by convincing a section of the country to declare its independence from the U.S.
In other words, the myth is that a vice president committed murder and he created an independent nation by separating countries from the US and Spain.
This myth is confirmed.
Based on the evidence from a document named by eyewitness accounts of the Hamilton-Burr duel.
A duel that included Alexander Hamilton, who was the nation's first Secretary of Treasury and an achieved author of the Federalist Papers. Then we have Aaron Burr, who essentially created the duel between him and Hamilton. He was currently the vice president during Thomas Jefferson's presidency. Aaron Burr had also served as a Continental Army officer in the Revolutionary War. Burr took part in the Colonel Benedict Arnold's expedition to Quebec. This earned him a place on Washington's staff in Manhattan. The overall reasoning behind the duel came into action with the two conflicting groups, Hamilton and Burr, in 1804, when Hamilton prevented Burr from accomplishing Burr's attempt to be renominated for vice president.
Burr responded by challenging Hamilton to a duel, and Hamilton felt he had to accept it, in which he did, and unfortunately was killed by a single bullet shot by Burr.
Dr. Hazak, who had stated he found him half sitting on the ground and had been in the arms of Mr. Pendleton. He recorded that, when he sunk away and became lifeless, he was irrecoverably gone. The doctor even tried to revive him by giving him water. This luckily awakened him, and he was breathing perceptibly. But Hamilton then questioned the doctor about finding his pulse, and told him he had lost all feeling in his lower part of his body. The doctor wrote he had no hopes that he should long survive.
Furthermore, Burr attempted to break some territories from the U.S. and Spain to create an independent nation along the Mississippi River in the United States.
Burr told people he worked with and even a British diplomat named Anthony Merry that the British had the possibility of regaining power in the Southwest only if they contributed specific items such as guns and money. Burr asked Anthony Merry for the ships and money, but Merry responded with no interest, as did London. In 1805, there was news that Burr wanted to raise a Western army and to form a separate government. In 1806, Burr talked with the Spanish minister Carlos Martinez and told him his plan. The Spanish minister then wrote to the leaders of Madrid about the division of the power growing of New Spain. The minister gave money to help jumpstart it, but the masters in Madrid failed to help. Within the same year, Burr got a hold of volunteers for the expedition down the Mississippi River. Burr and his military got supplies, but this triggered suspicion for the governor of Ohio, who at the time was Edward Tiffin. The governor of Ohio, Edward Tiffin, sent a militia to seize all the supplies. But luckily for Burr, he was able to escape and meet up with Wilkinson, but later Wilkinson grew suspicion that it would fail, so he backed out and told Thomas Jefferson.
Due to the fact that Burr tried to break up the nation, he was then tried in 1807 for overthrowing one's government. Burr had an accomplice by the name of James Wilkinson, who he had meetings with that was about overthrowing Jefferson. But later, this would change things for the worse.
James Wilkinson, who was Aaron Burr's co-conspirator, turned on Burr and revealed to Jefferson the scheme to overthrow Jefferson's presidency. Sharing the scheme with James Wilkinson would soon be problematic for Aaron Burr, considering the fact that James Wilkinson was also meeting up with Thomas Jefferson. After hearing from James Wilkinson, who was Aaron Burr's co-conspirator, U.S. President Thomas Jefferson and others had Burr arrested for treason. Luckily for Burr, all charges were dropped due to the lack of evidence. Even after murdering Alexander Hamilton, yet not being charged for the murder, Burr was then accused of plotting a scheme to subpoena Thomas Jefferson. Burr ostracized himself to Europe and acted in schemes to yet again overthrow U.S. President Thomas Jefferson. So through Aaron Burr's vice presidency, we came to conclude that our myth is confirmed, because in fact Burr did murder Alexander Hamilton due to the rivalry amongst them. Burr also was in fact accused of leading an expedition to create an independent nation.